Oh, people. What have we done? Well, I shouldn't say we, because I ain't involved in this shit. But it's crazy the amount of ignorance that you will see in the times we need to stand together as people against racism, systematic racism, and the history of police brutality and racial injustice, etc., etc. It's amazing the amount of ignorance that you will see coming out of the mouths of some people, because it's one of them what the fuck scenarios. Excuse my language, because you're going to be hearing quite a bit of that for the remainder of this video. So, what are the topics? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm forgetting my mantra. Stand in truth and you'll never have to worry about being on the side of lies. There's no such thing as your truth. There's only the truth and the lies. And every day that you stand up and wake up, you have to decide which side you want to stand on. Do you want to stand on the side of truth, or do you want to stand on the side of lies? Because indicating your truth, saying your truth, even though I understand the context in which they mean it, saying your truth implies that the truth is always on your side, and that is a complete lie in itself. So always stand with the truth, even if the world is against you. You'll never have to worry about being on the side of liars. So with that being said, Terry Crews, Candice Owens, and homophobia in the black community. These are the three topics that I want to just sprinkle some attention on, right? And the reason why I mention homophobia in the black community and not the world, because I specifically want to target that particular topic. Homophobia, in the black community. I'm going to target everything for as long as this phone allows me to. I made tons of space on this phone, so I should at least have a good hour, which I don't think is going to take that long, but I should have a lot of space to where I don't have to worry about the video cutting off. Have my phone on airplane mode, so let's go. So, Terry Crews. Oh, man. I would have never thought that the guy that made me laugh in Friday After Next, the guy who made me laugh in White Chicks, the guy who made me laugh during all those Old Spice commercials and all the other movies that he made that I watched, and the other commercials that I made that I've watched. It seems like ever since that Hollywood agent grabbed him by the balls, and I do mean that quite literally. It was a gay Hollywood agent. It was a party, a Hollywood party that he went to with his wife, and one of the Hollywood agents, white guy, said that he was, drinking, and he licked his lips at him. He went over there to say, see what's up and say what's up to him. The guy reached down and grabbed his balls, literally. Ever since that happened, it was like he lost his goddamn mind. And I said the same thing about Dwayne Wade. Ever since he got caught cheating on Gabrielle Union, it's like Gabrielle Union just had him by the balls all of a sudden. And he ain't been the same since either. But we're going to stick to Terry Crews, Candice Owens, and homophobia in the black community. We're going to stick to those topics, because Dwayne Wade, that's a topic within itself. First off, I want you guys to go and read the tweet that Terry Crews put out. Because pretty much he made a comment where he stated that he mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing here, so that's why I said go look at it before, I think he made a mention that if we get rid of white supremacy or something like that, then all there's left is black supremacy. First off, there can never be black supremacy. Well, they can be, if we're going to be honest here, but the amount of attention the amount of effort that's going to take is so great that it's never going to happen, pretty much. But here's the thing. You would think why is it that out of all the times for black people to come, black celebrities in particular, to say things like that? Because Terry Crews, even though he's the one that actually said these things via a tweet that he made, there's been other celebrities whose mannerisms and responses to, George Floyd's unnecessary death by the hands of former police officer with the compliance of the 3 other officers that were around him, Officer Derek Chauvin, or however the hell you pronounce his name. He's Officer Dickhead to me, so that's how it is. But for the sake of the video and to keep information accurate, you want to say former Officer Derek of the Minneapolis Police Department. Why is it that this is the time Terry Crews decides to say some shit like this? Because if anybody knows anything about the history of this company, well, shit, I might as well call it a damn company, because it's been treated like a goddamn business ever since it's been implemented. But the history of this country, there's always been a fear that white people was going to have to pay for the shit that they did. And they were so goddamn scared that they put programs in place disguised as trying to protect the public, when it really just targeted what they call minority groups. I don't really recognize it as that because we're really the majority groups, but I digress. I want you to go look up somebody called J. Edgar Hoover. And then I want you to go look up something that started pretty much under him. It was backed up by William C. Sullivan and Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, right? There's this thing that they created called counterintelligence protocol. Some of you may know it better as COINTELPRO. I'm pretty sure if you've seen any type of these conscious debates, with the ISUPK and Brother Polite and Divine Prospect and many of those other groups, if you're familiar with those type of settings, hell, not even if you're familiar with those type of settings, just information period, and how a lot of these groups got dismantled in America. If you've seen how a lot of these groups were dismantled, it was because of COINTELPRO, because their whole agenda was to infiltrate, dismantle from the inside, and basically destroy any type of liberation groups, primarily in the black community. However, they had their hand in destroying many other groups, but it was primarily in the black community. That's what happens. That's how the Black Panther Party got dismantled, because FBI agents infiltrated the Black Panther Party when the Black Panther Party was trying to empower black people to, better themselves, and, because there was a lack of leadership, because a lot of our leaders were getting killed. When you look at Martin Luther King, the people that were with him, counterintelligence protocol, had a hand in getting him assassinated, as well as Malcolm X. When I tell you COINTELPRO has had their hands in dismantling some of these black liberation groups and assassinating people, and going back to the Black Panther Party, they not only falsely imprisoned, but they assassinated and publicly humiliated many of the members of the Black Panther Party, unjustly, only because, by the words of J. Edgar Hoover himself, the greatest threat to America is Negro unity. They used the word Negro back then, Negro unity, and the rise of what they call a black messiah. In other words, a black person that can influence an entire community of black people to act. Because they know they did some fucked up shit, and they want to keep that quote unquote oppressive heel on the back of our necks. And so anytime, when you study history, you find out some shit. And one of the things you realize is there's nothing new under the sun. And there's always going to be little remnants of people doing shit today that kind of implement things that were done in yesteryear. And one of those things are using our own people to disapprove or try to publicly humiliate what's going on. The reason behind these protests is not just for George Floyd. It's not just for him, even though he was the catalyst for this. There is a long list of names of people, black people, who have been systematically and racially profiled, targeted, and killed by the hands of corrupt police officers, which the whole fucking, they can say how many good cops they have in the world. I don't like using the term good cop only because even though you have some quote unquote bad cops that haven't done anything, you have to imagine this like this. There's two tables, right? One table is for the good cops, one table is for the bad cops. And even though you may have cops that may sit at the bad cop table because they haven't, I guess, had a chance to do whatever they wanted to do just yet, they decided that, I guess, to keep up appearances, they're going to slide over to the good cop table and yeah, what they did was wrong, but you're not stopping them though. When former Officer Derek of the Minneapolis Police Department had his neck on George Floyd's neck for damn near 9 minutes. He had 3 other officers that were well within their power to get him off of him. The whole purpose of modern day policing, I do say modern day policing, because it started off as the slave patrols when the slaves wanted to run away. They would have slave vigilante groups like the KKK that would go out their way to be slave patrols to basically keep black people under the oppressive heel of their slave masters. Again, I'm just paraphrasing. I want you to, I'm that type of person, I put that bug in your ear so that you'll be inspired to go look up this information yourself and realize that the shit that I'm saying is true. This is American history. This is the stuff they're not going to teach you in school, because they're really not. And they're pretty much going to gloss over slavery like they always do, just to do the bare minimum and meet the requirements so they can say that they talked about it in school. They don't dive deep into it like they should to really educate you on everything that's happened. The presidents that had slaves that they praise and worship in America, from George Washington and several others. It's a shame, man. So anytime you hear Terry Crews or anybody like that making these statements that he made, I think about, the Black Panther Party that got dismantled, and all these other black people that got, that had to deal with blackface. Because Terry Crews, he does movies and TV shows, and, all the black people that had to deal with blackface, white people going on television and mocking black people, they pretty much just, it's like you're spitting on the face of them when you make those type of remarks, dude. It's, and I kind of wish I was able to pull it up on my phone so I can read it verbatim, but go in there and, I read what he said, I just can't quote it verbatim because I'm so into just making the video. It's kind of like, it's one of those things. But just go read it yourself and you'll understand that the response that I'm making is actually accurate to what he had said. But it's a damn shame when you see black people, especially in the midst of us trying to get justice for an unnecessary killing via the hands of police officers that have been going on far longer than camera phones have been out. We just captured like 30 plus police incidents. Probably way more than that if I dig deep. I'm just talking about since Sean Bell in New York City, because for our generation, that's when that started. The previous generation, they seen Rodney King getting beat on television. For us, we, had to deal with Sean Bell getting shot 50 times, when he was just leaving a bachelor party. You know what I mean? Just, that's when it really kicked off for us, from my generation, really. Even though, as a whole, black people have been dealing with this shit for so damn long that white people only heard of it via word of mouth, because in their community, they ain't got to deal with this shit. And if they claim they do got to deal with that shit, they don't deal with it at the capacity that we have to deal with it. You know what I mean? And when they're not targeting us, they're targeting Mexicans, they're targeting Latino brothers, you know what I mean? It's just unnecessary bullshit, bro. To the point where it's just like, you know what I'm saying? When we get to the point where we think killing somebody makes us more, quote unquote, American or human, and loving someone makes us less American or human, we need to rethink our humanity. That's a gem for you. But yeah, man, Terry Crews, he just reminds me that there's nothing new under the sun. No matter how far we go into the future, there's always people that's going to show you glimpses of how fucked up America has been and the bullshit that they have done, especially if you do research on groups such as COINTELPRO and all the bullshit that they had implemented, and the acts and atrocities that they did under J. Edgar Hoover, backed up by Robert F. Kennedy and William C. Sullivan. So go look up COINTELPRO, Counterintelligence Protocol, and see the bullshit that they did. That's one thing I want to talk about. Candice Owens, this is going to be quick. She's just Stacey Dash. She made a comment and said that it's Ahmaud Arbery's fault that he got killed. Listen, when you're jogging in the hood, even though they had other people in the area that have literally come out and said that the house that he was quote unquote looking in, other people were looking at that same house because it was under construction. If I remember the information correctly, they said that, it was under construction and people were just looking at, the inside of it. You know what I mean? And anytime white vigilantes kill a black person, they always have this excuse that um, they always have this excuse that, oh, I thought he had a gun. Oh, there was this call of a string of robberies in the neighborhood, and we wanted to go out. First off, you're not an authoritative law enforcement. You know what I mean? So nobody has to stop for you when you claim you want to do a quote unquote citizen's arrest. You know what I mean? That's just something to give people a feeling that they can do something before the police officers arrive, apprehend the person responsible for the act, and you know what I mean, use your rights to bear arms, a concealed firearm, to protect the public if the law enforcement isn't there. This isn't a hunt nigga season. It's always been hunt nigga season for these damn police, and these fucking racist motherfuckers. But you know what I mean? He had no reason to stop jogging just because you wanted him to. You're a regular person. You're a civilian like everybody else. You know what I mean? And when you notice that somebody, two white people are coming in a goddamn Ford truck, that's their vehicle of choice, Ford trucks. When you notice that they have guns, I'm not stopping for your ass either. And when I notice that you're driving faster and you're catching up to me, it's either these guys are gonna shoot me and kill me while I'm running, or I gotta fight for my damn life. And that brother went down, he went down fighting, as he should have, because if you gonna kill me, you gonna take a couple punches to the face. Something gonna happen. You know what I mean? They gonna know that I fought for my life. I just didn't sit there and just take it lying down. You know what I mean? So Candice Owens made a comment and said that it was Ahmaud Arbery's fault. She made some other stupid ass comments that I kind of drowned out, because once she mentioned that right there, that kind of made me ignore her. And I've been ignoring her for so goddamn long, ever since that whole summit where they had Killer Mike, T.I., Candice Owens, and several other people on stage. And it hurts even more because she came out, I believe she had a comment where she said, I don't know if it was in her freshman year of college or when she was in high school, when she had to deal with, racial discrimination from the police. And to think that you're sitting here tap dancing for fucking, you know what I mean? Basically, who Candice Owens is that she's the new Stacey Dash. That's the way you have to look at her. You know how ridiculous, she was, how ridiculous Stacey Dash was, and then all of a sudden it's like out of no fucking where she got dropped. I think she got fired from Fox or some shit like that. It's like once you get used up by these white corporations to make black people look bad, you realize that they don't have your back like you think they did. They're paying you all this money to say all these, inaccurate and ridiculous things about black people. And again, going back to COINTELPRO, using people to destroy groups. You know what I mean? It's just, she's just a new Stacey Dash. That's all I'm gonna say for that. And if she's not smart enough to notice how Stacey Dash got used and kicked to the damn curb when she was expendable, then she's just as stupid as Stacey Dash was. Because Stacey Dash ass hasn't been heard from for years. It was like she just disappeared off the face of the map, and that's when Candice Owens, got her little rise to fame. It's just fucking stupid, so ignore that bitch, because she is the one black woman that I have seen over my many years of living that have earned the moniker bitch. She has earned it in every sense of the word. She is a bitch. Fuck that hoe. She got her a white boyfriend, and that right, she got her a racist white boyfriend that backs her ass up and everything that he says. And Lord knows, we've seen that one video where that white dude was, black ladies, get you a black man that's going to appreciate you. I'm just saying, y'all keep saying niggas ain't shit and y'all got women out there like this. I'm going to just leave that there. But, I love y'all black women. Please don't change. Especially when you know you earned your crown. And then we got homophobia in the black community. You know, ever for a while we've been seeing. So what time is it? For a while we've been seeing tweets from several gay people and some black gay people as well, that have made comments and said things like, well, you know, you guys aren't ready to talk about, you know, gay discrimination in the black community, you know, are you? First off, you're not even ready to talk about that topic when you made that comment, whoever said it. It was a tweet. I can't remember the name of the person who tweeted it, but you're not ready for that conversation either. Because what if I told you that back in 2016, 2017, I wrote in it was an Android ZTE Warp. You know, I don't have that phone anymore. I have a Samsung now. I wrote in like the little text pages. I said, white people, America is trying to find a way to flip black history against black people. And what do I mean by that? Is that they're trying to take the history of black people from slavery and all this. Because anytime there was a debate where white people just wanted to simply ignore all the bullshit that has happened since the history of this damn country has been implemented, we kind of threw it in their face and remind them. And they hated that. And that was always like the shut up and remember type of comment, you know, like since you want to act like you don't remember, oh, we gonna remind you. And trust me, our history of pain and suffering is deeper than any other group, you know what I mean? Because on top of the fact we got stolen from our own native land, you came here, you killed off the actual Native Americans, and you forced us to build on top of the genocide that you guys had done, you know. And over the course of hundreds of years, you've implemented systems that prevented us from having the same opportunities that you guys had, you know, via redlining, stopping us from getting bank loans, from trying to, you know, start businesses and things like that. We, you know, and 400 years later, we're still behind that 8 ball. 400 plus years later, we're still behind that 8 ball. You know, don't think that Abraham Lincoln stopped slavery. Emancipation Proclamation only transferred the ownership of slaves from individual to state, meaning that the state can still implement slavery and still does in prisons and many other camps that have yet to be, you know, called out. You know, but that's a story for another time though. But what if I told you that the gay community was actually being used by America to try to silence black struggle? Because they're trying to, quote unquote, make homosexuality the new black. What if I told you that? Oh, you ain't ready for that conversation, though. You didn't know you was going to get that type of response. What if I told you that the two groups that they were going to use to make this happen was either going to be the gay community or the feminist community? And you notice ever since President Obama gave those 3 laws, you know, the bathroom law, it was done under his administration, the Supreme Court ruling under his administration, and when they got Don't Ask, Don't Tell removed from the military. Excuse me for spitting. You know what I mean? They got 3 laws. Black people didn't get shit. That's why I said that it's accurate to say that Barack Obama was the gay community's president. He wasn't the black community's president. You know, because unfortunately, us Negroes was only fucking happy with him being black. We didn't actually pay attention to what he was doing. Yes, he exonerated a couple people for their crimes that were unjustly, you know, he exonerated a few people, but I have yet to see any black person make that claim that he did that. There was people that was doing it independently under his administration, but it was never because of something that he did. You know what I mean? So he don't get that credit for that. But it's just ridiculous how, you know, people make these bold ass statements and they're not prepared for the responses that they're gonna get. I'm gonna wake y'all ass up. Like I said, stand in truth and you'll never have to worry about standing in lies. But with that being said, man, I gotta go to work. So I'm gonna let y'all have it, and we're gonna continue this conversation another time. You know, I love y'all at the end of the day. Peace, and well, they got a vehicle right here. You know, and be good. At hold on, let me see. I think they're back at midnight. Yeah, I think they're back at midnight. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, man. So we, like I said, stand in truth in everything that you do, and you never have to worry about being in lies. So that being said, I'm getting ready to head into work. I'm gonna upload this video, man. Tell me what y'all think, and yeah, look up that information that I gave you guys, and let's just do better as a people and kick all these other motherfuckers out that's trying to deter us from what we're actually trying to do out here. So that's it. Peace. Remember, be humble in victory, be gracious in defeat, but show no mercy in battle. World Warriors Collective, ADS Play 101.